quickly, a very quick demonstration on what you should be doing. So we've got the warm water in there. We've got the nail polish remover, which as you can see my daughter's been at. So it's in a dreadful state, but it's fine on the inside. I have my cuticle cutters. I also have my metal cuticle pusher, and as mentioned, if you're not confident with this, I would prefer that you would use an orange wood stick, and they look like this. Again, you can purchase these off Amazon relatively cheaply. Here is my cotton pad. I've got a lint-free white pad, but cosmetic pad is fine, and a 240 grit file. This one's from OPI, but you can grab any other one online or Superdrug. And this is your average sort of higher grit nail file, which you can use, but again, remember to go in one direction and not a seesaw, otherwise you will make your nails brittle. So make sure that all your equipment is clean. Now, washing it with soapy fairy liquid and warm water is fine. I'm going to give mine an extra wipe with an alcohol wipe, as I do have a 9-year-old that gets up to all sorts of things, so I just want to make sure that even though I've washed it, that it has remained clean. And we are ready to begin. So firstly, what you would do is take your nail file and shape your nails to the required length and shape. If you wanted them any shorter than this, obviously I'm not going to do that, but if you did want it shorter, or if you have very long nails, make sure you clip them first. It's better to clip them to the correct length than it is to continue to file all the way through. So if you've got a regular file, you'll be doing it in one direction like so, as gently as you can, and down, avoiding the seesaw action. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. Hopefully you can see that. If you do have a higher grit file, brilliant, because it gives you more flexibility. You can go backwards and forwards without compromising the integrity of your nail. So go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just finish that off. That is pretty much the shape I want. I'm going to use the higher grit for my thumbnail, because my thumbnail is actually quite thick for some unknown reason, thicker than the others. So again, very tempting to go backwards and forwards. You see I almost did it there. It's because I'm used to the higher grit file, and that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that off and speed up the video a little bit. Oh, before I do, make sure that you bevel the nail. The beveling means when you file this, you will feel that it's quite sharp. What you want to do is just run your nail file down gently, and that will take away any sharpness that you may have on your nail. So do that first. This is the important part, which I'm going to show you on how to prep your nail plate sufficiently so that the polish sticks. What you want to be doing is using this end of your cuticle pusher. You want to try and keep it relatively parallel, possibly a 45-degree angle to your nail, and then gently slide it from the middle of your nail up. Now this is because cuticle is a very clear skin that is shed by your eponychium, which is your nail fold, and that clear skin hangs onto the nail as it grows, and when it does that, it stretches, and that's when you can have hangnails or jaggedy nail folds, and the temptation, of course, to pick. So go ahead and do that. Just a gentle scrape. Do not push too hard onto the nail fold. You are literally lifting that matter off. That's what you want to get rid of. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my nails. Okay, now that we have all that white stuff coming up, we want to be using this end of the cuticle pusher. Yours may not look exactly this shape, but generally it is just a sharper end to it and relatively pointy, because what we're going to do is take it gently to help lift off that white stuff. Can you see how that's just coming off? And that's all you need to do. Just running it gently across the nail will make sure that that all falls off, because if you were to paint on top of that transparent skin, not only would the finish look rough, unsmooth, uneven, it would also mean that the polish will lift off, because it's not designed to be used on skin, it should be on your nail plate. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of that now. Now, as you can see, a lot of that, just by using that scraping action, has been enough to take away that dead skin, which is the cuticle. Now, what you want to be doing now for those little bits that haven't actually come off as well, this is when you use your cuticle nippers to gently just lift that off and snip. Make sure you squeeze the cuticle clippers. You're not looking to pull that skin, you're looking to just gently trim it back. Okay, you are not to use the cuticle cutters on your nail fold. This is the sort of coloured area of the skin that some technicians feel that they need to take off. Now, you don't want to be doing that because it's live tissue, which means that if you cut into it, it will bleed. And if you bleed, that means that your skin is open and you are at risk from any infection, and you do not want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and gently, as you can see, just take away the little bits that haven't come off on their own with the cuticle pusher and make that all tidy. Okay, can you see how much better that looks just by doing that? I like to put my fingers back in the water, and you will see that once it comes back out, some of that filing will be standing up. These little beardy things, we want to get rid of that because that's not going to result in a great finish. So what I would do is use the opportunity to clean underneath my fingernail with the orange stick. Do not use the cuticle pusher for this. That would be dangerous, okay? Again, when you're cleaning under your nail, don't go too far up into the nail bed. We don't want to cause any separation between the nail bed and the skin here, because that is painful, and again, you'll be exposing yourself to potential infection, okay? So just do that as gently as possible. Make it nice and clean. Oh, I've been eating dark chocolate. I'm not a dirty girl, I promise. That's what's all coming off underneath this. Yeah, it's Friday. We don't diet on a Friday. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up my file and give it a little gentle sweep again, because this will ensure any little beardy bits that I've left behind are going to be removed to result in a nicer finish. Okay, and then another gentle bevel. Now, that may not look like much of a transformation, but when you consider that all of this has actually come off my nail plate, and all of that would have contributed to premature chipping and a poor quality finish. Now, here is the main part, I would say. You would take your nail polish remover. Now, you can use acetone free, it's better for your nails, or a regular acetone one, because what we're going to be doing is removing any excess oils away from the surface of the nail. Now, by doing that, you will encourage the nail polish to stay on for longer. We all know if you're applying anything to a greasy surface, it just won't stick. Make sure that your nails squeak with cleanliness. So, natural fact, when I was taught how to do manicures, this part was called squeaking. So, we squeak the nails. You hear that? Hold it for a couple of seconds, up and down. Couple of seconds up and down, couple of seconds up and down. Now, I know that my nail is nice and clean. And then we begin. I have a top coat here, sorry, a base coat even. For a professional finish, you'd want to be placing your brush around 2/3 up from the edge. So that's the edge, around here. And if you do that, what you can then do is push the brush back. And what you'll be doing is you'll be pushing the polish up, and it will create a really nice sort of round curve to this area, so it will complement the curve that we have naturally around our cuticle area. So by simply, you'll need to practice it, but you know, once you've got it, it's dead easy. So we want to be putting it down, push up. You'll see it better when I do it with the colour. And across the sides. Now this is a very thin layer. That's all you need. I'm going to go ahead and do the other nails. Okay, this is my base coat done. Next is taking my colour, and I am going to roll my colour around. And nail polish needs to be mixed very well so that the application is smooth. It's easier for you to work with. Now I choose to roll my polish. Some people shake, but I don't like to create air bubbles in my polish, and I also don't like the polish itself to come bursting out like a volcano when I do open it up. So I recommend rolling, but you do what you feel is best for you. Okay, so same technique, we're going to do it with the colour, remember. Now this time make sure that this section of the brush doesn't contain any polish, because that will flow down and it could just be problematic. Once that is clean, I like to dip my brush and then clean it on one side only, so that I have polish, which way around, just on the tip. And then I'm going to place it relatively, again at a 45-degree angle, exactly where I began with the clear, and I've created a nice round top. Now, if it's not perfect, don't worry. You've got another attempt, a second coat, and potentially, I mean, looking at this colour, I may need 3 to get it to the sort of depth that I really like for my skin tone too. So again, clean one side of your brush adequately, pop it around 2/3 up, rest your brush, push your brush. Now if I take that away, you can see what that does. Creates that nice little line, push the brush up and then slowly drag it down. And proceed this way. I'm going to go ahead and do my other nails. Okay, that's the first coat. As you can see the brush strokes, you can see some gaps. I'm quite happy with how close I've come to the cuticle area and the side walls without touching it with colour, so that's great. So this is a really, really nice guideline for me to follow on now. And this has been possible because I use the same precision and care with my base coat. So in effect, when my base coat ended there, it was easy for me to meet it with the colour. Okay, so make sure, even though base coat is clear, that you're not rushing that part. Okay, now you can see that's 2 coats, and I'm actually quite glad I picked a tricky colour, because as you can see, there are still areas that haven't fully been covered. This is because this particular colour is very translucent, so I will go ahead and do another 3rd thin coat after rolling my bottle again. Okay, I'm super happy with that. That is 3 thin coats. It's pretty close to perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and actually I'll show you, because it says sweet, no need to shake it first. Again, it's a much gloopier consistency you will see to the base coat and even colour, and compared to some of the top coats out there in the market. So you will have to drag this a little slower. You can't rush this part, and make sure that you've got enough on your brush because it dries so quickly that you don't want to be dipping back into the bottle for another amount. Okay, so you can see, just work it really slowly and then cap the ends. And there you have it. This is the end result. I'm happy. I'm gonna have to take it easy now, I would say, for the next half an hour minimum, because as regular polish works, the top layers will be dry and underneath they may still be wet.